Okay, back with another video about this clear gesso I made. Now, the recipe for that is, what did I write that on? Well, and I changed it up a bit. So go find video 1, and I will put a link for it down in comments. But first video, I did this one, and I dried it with the blow dryer, and it turned out okay, but it's still wrinkly. But I was able to color on it much easier. Then I went over here and I did this one. You see, this is much flatter. And this one I actually did with a paintbrush. The first one I did with this squeegee tool and my finger. You can see it back on the video. And then, there's the recipe. So, and I showed in the first one how I messed up the recipe and had to start over. So this is the second one. This one, the edges were all rolled over, but once I laid it flat, it flattened out, and I can feel the mix on it, but it's not gritty, okay? It's still smooth, so I do like that. Now, this is what it looks like after you use the paintbrush, before you flatten it, okay? So you can see how it is curled, and it does still have some rippling to it. Now, my daughter suggested, why don't, shall we let that go? Let's just let that finish bonging. Silly clock. So let's find another page. Let's just do, I'm looking for one that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff close to the edge. That one will work. Okay, and it puts one on this side, which is not as easy for me. So it'll show you how it actually goes. I have wax paper. I'm going to slide it under. Now, what Sarah was saying was, what if we actually taped around that area so that the page couldn't really move all that much? So I have some washi tape that I got like for almost nothing, literally. And I know it's pretty, right? It's glitter, but it's a big fat roll. I will never use all this, and I like to use it as regular tape sometimes. And it's a low tack tape, so I will be able to get it back off my page without destroying it. So, and I'm not sure if painter's tape would work for this, because this paper is so very thin. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and just tape down this other side, and we're really going to make this margin to where it really cannot move around. And we're going to try this, and we should know pretty quick on using it if this is going to do the trick or not. I have been contacted by, sorry, I'm trying to line this up, by General brand. They do colored pencils and painting supplies and all kinds of stuff. They're going to send me some product to try out on YouTube and to show you and to play and experiment with. If they send me gesso, I will be doing another video, okay? And we'll see how it works. So here's my lid. Let's use this side. Let's put some of this mix in it. Let's use our brush and let's lay that there. Let's just go for it. Now, I'm trying not to put it on too thick, but it really, you can see how it's starting to wrinkle already. I think the more you mess with it, the more it wrinkles. Not real sure. But I'm not going to use the blow dryer on this time, okay? I was using the blow dryer before on that very first one, and you saw how it ended up all wrinkled up. So, and if you get too much out, I just roll it over, pour it back into the bottle. Yeah, I waste very little. I do that even when I'm painting with my acrylics. So we are going to leave this here and let it air dry, okay? So hopefully I'm going to push pause and not stop, and we will be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I've been back to check on this a couple times, and it's almost dry. It's still tacky in some places, but I think it's dry enough that we can pull our tape off. And hopefully that's still going to pull off of there. So far, so good. Yeah, I probably would have been wiser to have put this, if you put it over on t-shirt first and then peel it off, it takes just enough of the fuzz off of your clothing to make it less tacky, because this is a little more tacky than I wanted. In fact, I did rip it a bit right there. So we're going to turn around and come back from the other direction, which does not bode well for me for this long piece going down the middle of the page. So make sure if you're using a washi tape, it's a very cheap one that does not have a good tack to it. So I can get this started in a way where I roll it back on top of itself. It should peel off just like a painter's tape would. There we go. Yeah, did you know that? If you lay tape flat over on itself and pull, it's a whole lot easier to get it off. Yep, the only thing is you got to get it started first. But what we're wanting to see with this little experiment is how it does in the long run. Don't get in a hurry. Just because it's going good, you don't want to fly through there. And I can go across that top with a piece of decorative tape that coordinates with whatever color I use on my pencils. So that piece doesn't really worry me much. Every now and then I can hear it doing something, but I'm not seeing any great damage. So again, I am noticing that it did do better with the tape on it, but not this tape necessarily, because again, these pages are just so thin. This should come right off. And it might be that I don't need to tape this inside piece. Maybe just taping this would work, that long edge, but look how much better that is. That is so much better. So from now on, yeah, I really like that. So the recipe that I used before on the first video will work. I'm just going to have to tape down this long edge to keep it from rippling. And on that other page that I have that is rippled, get rid of that. That other page that I did that turned out rippled, it will flatten this one. This will flatten after I leave my Bible closed for a bit. This corner will flatten back down, and so that won't be too bad. But this still has a little more ripple to it than what this is going to have. This is going to be really smooth. And again, this is not totally dry. I've got a wet spot here and a little bit wet right there. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Sarah was right. So if you're going to use your homemade mixture, go back and watch the first video because I totally screwed it up the first time and had to remix. But the second mix was good. And then use the brush and tape down just this long edge. And then if you want, just along the very edge on the top and bottom, but just, you saw how much. I mean, I barely caught that with the tape, but that's going to keep it from really rippling and give you so much better effect and better results with it. But yeah, I need to label this with my label maker. Clear Gesso, homemade. I like it. I'll be using it some. So, okay, that's it for this time. Talk to y'all later. Bye.